Welcome, class. In today's math lesson, we're learning about multiplying fractions by whole numbers. And we're going to do that in the abstract. So we're going to start with a model here just to see what we're doing, but we're going to remove that model today and learn how to do this with just the numbers. So for today's lesson, we have three wholes down here. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like. We've got 1, 2, 3 wholes. And we're multiplying that by 1/4. And what we've learned about this is that this word multiply, or this multiply symbol here, it's like saying that we're taking 1/4 of 3. So that would look something like this. Taking 1/4 of 1, 1/4 of 2, and 1/4 of 3. That's what that looks like. And when we count these, we see that we have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. That's how many pieces we have when we're done. 3/4. So if we use a model, it's pretty easy to see how we get 3/4. But how do we do that without a model? How do we get 3 times 1/4 equals 3/4 if all we have are the numbers? Well, let's take a look at what 3 wholes times 1/4 really means. When we say 3 wholes, what we're really saying is that it takes one piece to make a whole. In other words, we could say that if it only takes one piece to make a whole, we could say that the denominator is 1, because the denominator tells us how many pieces does it take to make a whole. And then how many pieces are there? Well, we could say there are 3 of those pieces. So in our abstract, in our numbers up here, we'd say that there are 3 pieces. That's how many pieces I have. And I'd say that I'm multiplying that times 1 piece, and I get 3. And I've identified how many pieces does it take to make a whole in my first fraction here. I'd say it takes 1 piece to make a whole. Of course, if I turn these into fourths, I'd say how many pieces does it take to make a whole? I'd say it takes 4 pieces to make a whole. And so my answer would be 4. So what I did is I turned my whole number into a fraction. Let's just take one more look at what that looked like. The 3 wholes right here originally was a big number 3, and I turned that into a fraction, 3 wholes. Let's try that with another example. 4 times 1/2. So again, that would be 4 wholes. 1, 2, 3. A little bit too small. 4. And I'm multiplying that by 1/2. So if I was doing that with a model, I'd be chopping each of these wholes up and then taking 1/2 of each one. And I would just count how many halves do I have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 halves. That would be my answer, 4 halves. Or if I put those together, let's see here, these 2 would make 1 whole, these 2 would make a whole, that would be 2 wholes. But I want to learn how to do this without the models. So let's give that a try. To do this without the models, I would multiply. First, I would turn the number 4 here into a fraction. I take the 4 and put it up on top, and I put that over a 1. It makes this new fraction, 4 wholes. That's what that means. 4 over 1 means 4 wholes. And again, if I was just doing this with math, when I'm multiplying fractions, I just multiply straight across. So 4 times 1 equals 4. And 1 times 2 equals 2. So my answer is 4/2. Let's try one of these on your own. So in your math notebook, give this a try. We're going to try 5 times 2/3. So go ahead and pause if you need to solve this problem in your math notebook. And remember, you take that first whole number, you turn it into a fraction by putting the 5 over a 1 and multiply straight across. Give it a try on your own first. All right, when you've solved this problem, you're ready to unpause, and let's see how you did. So I'm turning 5 into a fraction, 5 wholes, and then I'm multiplying straight across here. So 5 times 2 equals 10, and 1 times 3 equals 3. So my answer here is 10/3. Now that's an improper fraction, so I'd have to turn that into a proper fraction. And to do that, we divide 10 divided by 3, which is 3 wholes. And how many are left over? There's 1 left over. 3 1/3 is my answer. If you ever want to take a look at what this problem looks like with models, you would just draw 5 wholes to start with. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you divide each of these up into 2/3, like that. And you'd find you'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oops. 10/3. There we have it. So let's try one more on your own here before you start these totally on your own here. Let's do 8 times 1/4 for our last problem. All right, so go ahead and pause if you need to. Try this on your own. Unpause when you're done. All right, if you solved this on your own, let's see how you did. Turn that 8 into a fraction, 8 wholes, then multiply. 8 times 1 equals 8, and 1 times 4 equals 4. So 1/4 of 8 equals 8/4. That's an improper fraction. Make that into a proper fraction. That'd be 8 divided by 4, which is 2 wholes. All right, well, let me know if you have any questions. Good luck with your work, and you'll be following this up with some practice on your own.